Hey, Zach.
Hey, Alex.
And welcome, everyone, to the Pokemon Power Podcast. Zach is giggling because we started the podcast and Zach was surprised by my jovial energy and was unable to complete his intro, which is just, hi, Alex.
It's a big part. I mean, people are waiting for it.
It's important. It's the third and fourth words that people hear in this podcast. So we had to start over and immediately almost had issues again, but we made it through. We powered through, and it is time for the like and subscribe jingle. Like them, subscribe them, and follow them. Leave a review where you don't yell. Pokemon Power Podcast.
So
Zach,
good.
what are you going to do if I have a Huey Lewis-esque like tone deafness like arrive in me, where like I'm no longer able to like hear and enjoy music, and I have to continue singing that? What are you going to do? Are you going to let me completely off key it?
I am reeling from this news that happened to Huey Lewis, my boy. For Huey Lewis in the news.
The news is fine.
Sports.
Huey Lewis well, I'm saying not doing great. Huey Lewis still fine. I mean, he just has this thing with music now. I believe he just released a new record. You like Huey Lewis? By the way, this is for all of our
the one album.
All
Sports.
of our 50-year-old fans out there. Sports. That's the one you like? Okay.
I mean, it's the only one that matters. It's got all the tunes on it. And then I like how, you know,
which one do you like? What's your favorite Huey Lewis song?
Well, is it? I mean, at the first
I'm saying
line,
all
it's
this
I want
like
a
I
new
know
drug.
a bunch.
I want a new drug, but it's I want a new drug. One that doesn't make me blah.
Yeah.
Because then that's the one that they copied and made the Ghostbusters theme.
Yes. Well,
and then
I think anytime anyone brings this up, they get sued. So maybe we can stop talking about that.
And then everyone
Ray
loves
Parker
music.
Jr. wrote an original tune to Ghostbusters, Zach.
Whatever is the correct answer, that's what I believe. And also the themes of Back to the Future are good as well.
Yeah, I'm acting like I'm a big Huey Lewis fan when the only songs I know of his are Back in Time and that's the power of yeah.
Yeah, no.
Should that be our new theme song? They got power in it.
That's the power.
That's the Pokemon power of podcast. We're recording late. You can tell we're very loopy. It's update time. I wanted to update on a bet that Zach and I made. We forgot to follow up on this when we came back from our break. But before we took our break at the end of 2020, it's now 2021. But you could be listening to this in 3021 for all we know. Hopefully, Stitcher still hosts our podcast at that point.
Things are going well, you know. I'm looking out for you 3021. I think it's good.
But we made a bet at the end of 2020. I said it's going to be a white Christmas in Chicago. If I was right, Zach would have to finally finish Pokemon X or Y. Which one do you own?
X.
Pokemon X. But I was wrong. And as a punishment, I need to watch and review for the program a movie that I was disparaging. And Zach says, is a wonderful film. Bird Box.
Did I say that? No.
I have to review this movie. So I did want to update everyone and say that will be happening next week. We will be hearing my review of Bird Box. Anything that specific you want me to be remarking on, Zach? The cinematography, the performances, the writing. What would you like?
I don't remember standing up so I like, you know, defending the movie that way. I think maybe it was how we were disparaging it. You know, people invest their lives in making movies, you know, and they don't want to make
no one invested
their
lives in Bird Box, and I'm going to prove that in my review next week.
I saw all the boom mics in every scene. No editing were done. And
I bet the grips did a good job. Okay.
That's what
By
I'm just
the
saying.
way, who is this podcast for? We're talking about Huey Lewis and the news on the Pokemon Power Podcast, followed by talking about the
different people that work on
the
movies.
crew jobs for
Grips
Bird
and
Box.
Best Boys. Real insider language for our Pokemon fans.
Who shot this film? Rotom? All right. I bet this director he's so forgetful he probably left his clef key at home.
Man. Anyway,
movie some real Garbodor. Okay, we are making a new bet.
Garbodor. That has to catch on as a phrase. I love that because people are like, "Did you say garbage?" And you're like,
"Moving on." Zach. Okay, real quick aside. I know this whole show so far it's been 5 minutes and 23 seconds of asides, but
yeah.
One time I was like, as it has been mentioned on this podcast, I used to work for several different churches, but I was working for this church and I was praying, and I said during my prayer, Lord, use us as your avatar. Now I use that as the word avatar, meaning, something that he's working through, a conduit for the Lord, for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to be clear, everyone who's never been in a church, no one says that. No one says,
"Sure,
God, let's be our avatar." So let's make it clear that Alex is putting himself on a ledge, no matter what.
I did put myself on a ledge because right after that, someone came up to me. They said, "Did you say Avatar, like the blue people?" And I was just like, "Moving on."
I was like, "Oh, that's the movie I watched this weekend." That's why I was thinking about it.
The funny thing is, I don't even think I'd seen Avatar. I think was in the theaters, but I hadn't seen it. I don't remember. Anyway, here's the point. The point is Zach and I are going to make a new bet, and it's Pokemon related.
For sure it is.
Kind of. I guess basically the bet or that we're basing it around is not Pokemon related, but we're basing around the Super Bowl. For those of you who are in other countries or maybe don't pay attention to sports, there's a big sporting event here in America called the Super Bowl. It's where our two best football teams, American football teams, face off against each other, which I guess are the Buccaneers and the Chiefs.
Yes.
I guess that's what the prompter says, but I mean, if you ask me, they're the two dumbest football teams.
Wow. I mean, one of them, the Buccaneers, has the history's greatest quarterback leading them. So
you misread the prompt there. It says the history's most cheating quarterback. Tom Brady deflate gate.
It's cheating by being the best. So I get that. Okay. Doesn't make sense.
But Zach and I decided to make enjoying the game a little more enjoyable by betting on it, as that increases our enjoyment of everything.
Yep.
We're going to bet on not the score of the game. We're going to bet on the national anthem. Now, Zach, we're hearing a wonderful national anthem from Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan. Do you love their music, Zach?
I can honestly say I maybe have heard one song from one of them, and I'm sure they do a great work. And I'm saying, is her name Jasmine or Jasmine? Because that's more fun to say. But either way, I'm in full support of them.
Well, Zach, on average, it takes 2 minutes or 120 seconds to sing through the national anthem. We're going to go over and under.
For real.
What do you want to go with? Do you want to go over or under? Do you think it's going to take them more or less time to sing that national anthem? Now, there's two of them. That may mean it takes them twice as long, or maybe they'll go twice as fast.
Yeah, I'm definitely going over.
Okay, you're going over. So you think it'll be over 120. I'm going to go under then. I want to keep it competitive. And we've already set the terms of our agreement.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to provide some wonderful Pokemon content.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do is one of us will end up the loser of the bet, although no one's truly a loser. You're winners in our eyes, except for you, Tom Brady. You cheater. Go to prison.
Tom Brady, you're the best. Go University of Michigan. You're the best.
Do not collect 200. Go to jail. But we're gonna the person who does not win the bet is going to watch the 2020 Pokemon Oceania International Championship for the trading card game. Because Zach and I, actually more about the trading card game than I do, but we're both scrubs. Neither of us are competing in international championships.
Yeah. And that is normally the definition of scrub for anything. Is
if you're not one of the best in the world, you're a scrub. But we're going to one of us who does not win the bet is going to have to watch that, and we're going to have to come back about what we've learned about the trading card game. So that way we can finally speak with some.
Watch that. We mean gets to watch it.
Gets to watch that. That's true. We're going to get to watch it, but then you have to come back with a report on what you learned. So that way we can kind of speak with some authority about Pokemon. I'm going under. Zach's going over. And for the listeners and viewers at home, make your own bets. Shout them out in the comments. You can send it to our official Pokemon email address, pokepowpod@gmail.com. Just put the email title, I'm betting on the Super Bowl national anthem, and I think it's going to be, and then put one or the other. And if you get it right, then we'll smile on the next podcast. And if you get it wrong, then we won't. That's the bet.
Amazing. Thank you.
Anyway, it's time for Gotta Elucidate Them All.
Can't wait. With our new
Zach, I'm way too loopy. You got to hold down this podcast for me.
System now, where we, instead of just Zach being the guinea pig, using his beautiful words and language to describe the Pokemon, I know what Pokemon it is, but one of us, through a coin flip, is going to be the one doing the elucidating. So Alex is bringing up that coin flip for us. I can't wait to see. I am heads eternally.
Zach is heads during the season. I'm tails during the season. I'm going to click flip again right now. Let's see where it lands. Tails. I am not ready for this, but I guess I must. I must.
There we go.
Well, I'm going to bring up a picture of this week's Pokemon. I have a 30-second timer on the clock. If you don't know the rules, I am not allowed to say the Pokemon's name. I am also not allowed to say any other Pokemon's name or the word cute. But I am ready to play. I'm bringing it up on the screen in 3, 2, 1. This little guy is green, has a hard shell, has some angular lines creating a design on his tummy, has some little spikes out of the back, has kind of a lazy Eeyore-esque eye on both sides of his face, and it appears to be in somewhat of a cocoon, maybe going through a metamorphosis, and it's in a pod. That's it. That's my time. Zach, I gotta ask, who's that Pokemon?
I'm gonna use my Sherlock Holmes skills and combine the words you said, and I'm gonna say it's Metamorphosis Pod.
You're almost there, Zach. Metapod. Metapod is what we're talking about today. Zach, what do you think of Metapod? A classic Pokemon, appeared as early as the 3rd episode of the anime. So we may have gotten some exposure to it very early in our lives if you watched that like I did. What are your thoughts on Metapod?
I mean, I don't want to kind of reveal where I'm going to be heading this episode, but I'll say this as I would interact with this dude in my game, or lady. I can never really tell genders.
You sound like interact with this dude. Sounds like a person who's on trial for drug charges and they don't want to confirm it, but they also don't want to like go to jail for perjury. They're like, yeah, I interacted with this dude.
I've heard of them. Now, every time that Metapod pops up as I'm walking through a nice little field or I'm in a little forest somewhere, I say, no thanks.
Okay.
And I'm
much
just
like
trying
those when the people offer you drugs on the street.
I say
you interact with
no
the dude,
thanks.
but you say no thanks.
No thanks. Or run. Honestly, I would never throw rocks though.
Flee.
He was a little too dangerous. I mean, it makes sense. I like how it's tied in with real things. It's a fun take on the whole like evolutions of Pokemon. You actually have this one kind of like say the real world evolution of something that's a little Caterpie into a Metapod into a little whatever.
Sure, much like a caterpillar goes into its cocoon and eventually emerges a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah. So I mean, I like that aspect, but it is if we and I don't know what all of our segments are today, but if the old ones where you try to yell at Charmeleon being not a great
we're doing it, Zach. We're doing that segment. We're doing second form or skip.
Yeah. So
I am let me get through my intro,
okay?
Zach.
That's my nutshell, okay? That's just my nutshell of my feelings about this little shell, okay? So you have to your job today is to prove me wrong, is to move me because I'm kind of revealing my cards here. I'm a little bit on the negative side. So let's see where I can move today. Let's see where you move me. Where are you going to move my heart tonight?
We're doing a segment called Second Form or Skip. I, Alex, am a firm believer that most of the second forms of the 3-form Pokemon are unnecessary and frankly unwanted. And much like most people's time in middle school, I think it would be better off skipped. During this segment, Zach and I will decide whether the second form is worthy or if the Pokemon Company should have just skipped them. We will do this by reviewing 3 criteria. Number 1, does it have unique moves or type? Number 2, any unique/interesting Pokedex entries? And number 3, does it have good/unique design? So starting off, number one, we do have a definitive answer here. While Metapod does share its type with Caterpie, they're both just flat bug type. It does have a signature move that it learns, and it will pass on to Butterfree, Harden. So it does have its own little signature move. It doesn't just have what it inherits from Caterpie. It does have one move that it knows. Okay. And I would say makes it special.
Okay.
Zach is swallowing his words right now. As far as unique Pokedex entries,
special. That's what you say to something. You know what? Special.
You're my gosh. Right, someone out here, someone is listening to this and has been called special and is now questioning the paternal love that their mother showered upon them. And they said, did my mom secretly think I'm weird? That's what Zach Boyer says to me from my favorite podcast, the Pokepowpod.
I'm doubting my whole childhood right now. Am I not special? No, humans, every human, let me just clear this up. Every human is special. And that is my firm sense. That's why we end the episodes every time, right? We choose you guys, okay? Because you're special. But Metapod, I don't know about that.
I think every human could be an avatar for our Lord. And by avatar, I do mean the blue creatures from the movie Avatar. It does have some unique Pokedex entries. I mean Metapod, because we're all over the place. In Moon, it says this. It says its shell is hard, but it's just a bug shell. It's been known to break, so intense battles should be avoided. Has a breakable shell. Did you know that, Zach?
I did after I was reading the Pokedex, because I thought, hey, it's got hardened. This is like this cool unbreakable thing happening.
Right. I thought we were going to have like another Shelter situation where it was like, oh, this shell is impossible to break. Like a lot of the Pokedex entries made it pretty clear. Nah, you can crack this thing open.
Yeah. And the what does it say? The inside that are soft and weak.
We're going to get to the insides.
Soft and weak.
So, because we have to get back to that. We will touch on that in just a moment. Ultra Sun has this. And you're going to be confused by this immediately. Ultra Sun says its shell is filled with a thick liquid. All of the cells throughout its body are being rebuilt in preparation for evolution. So apparently on the inside of Metapod, it just liquefies. It liquefies and then it like remolds itself into Butterfree. Truly bizarre, but wonderful. I think that sort of stuff, I think the weird Pokedex entries are kind of what make Pokemon. I think that's the kind of stuff that we need more and more of. So I'm for that. Finally, we judge the design itself, Zach.
What do you think of Metapod right now? I'm reeling with the idea that this little eyed creature is just like goop inside.
Full of goop. Yeah.
It's just a little goopy bud. So then now I'm thinking when it says that it can be, let's go all the way back up here to original.
This Gwyneth Paltrow here is full of goop.
But it's like a large impact in yellow. A large impact may cause it to pop out of its shell. So I'm saying now someone like, Pokemon is going to crush this thing. Like, oh, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to crush. And then just like,
okay. Goop I think we need to, we've addressed it twice already, so I think we have to talk about it. There's a mystery going on here, Zach.
All right. Yeah.
What's on the inside of Metapod? Because in Emerald, it describes it like so.
Cue X-Files music.
What?
Cue X-Files music. What's on the inside? I was actually going to put it in post, but now thank you for, I don't have to because it was perfect.
Don't say you're going to put it in post. We know that's not going to happen. Emerald says its shell is as hard as an iron slab. A Metapod does not move very much because it is preparing its soft innards for evolution inside the shell. And you said soft and weak. Soft describes a solid, correct? It does not describe a liquid. You would not describe a liquid as soft.
No, but you could describe a goop as soft, though.
Okay. Now, I will say this may be the whole crux of the conversation because Ultra Sun described the inside of him as a thick liquid.
Yeah.
Is a thick liquid goop? Because I guess there's the question is he full of is he full like of liquids or is he full of solids? Ultra Moon says its hard shell doesn't crack a bit, even if pecks at it, but it will tip over, spilling out its insides, which is very funny to me that apparently if a Metapod flips over, it just all falls out. Like, that'd be like if you did a handstand and all the blood just came gushing out your mouth and eyes. They tell you not to do those handstands, man. They're death for you. What do you think? What's on the inside of this thing?
Here's the thing. I mean, if we move past Goop as being a company from Gwyneth Paltrow that sells questionable things, when we look up at vocabulary.com,
we're asking to be sued, by the way,
just
with everything we're doing on this podcast.
This is the episode called "Please Sue
Yuri
Us."
Geller, please don't sue us, please.
So Goop is a noun in any thick, viscous matter.
Okay.
So it's also the street name for a drug, which I just learned today.
I think you protest too much after everything we've heard about your drug.
I just learned about it. Gamma hydroxybutyrate, whatever that is. But I think it can be. It's a viscous matter, but it's like so. It's like I think we can think of it because that's the only way that it would make sense to me if we talk about this a thick liquid. It would be. I mean, yeah. But that's really blowing my mind. I mean, because I'm picturing Caterpie inside there, or whatever.
Caterpie has been squished into mush now to get
so
rearranged
so
into.
Little cute guy. He goes in the shell, and you think, oh, he's just like growing into a cool guy. It's like, no, he's being evolved into this like goop thing.
If you do watch the videos, you may have noticed in the background, and sometimes I bring them on screen. My kids have many Pokemon plushes. My son, the next one he wants to buy is a Caterpie. He wants to buy that with his allowance. But you know what? No one's asked for in this household. Metapod. They're afraid of that goop.
It's special.
They're afraid of that goop spilling out the side if they knock it over.
I would actually for sure get one of the plushies if that was actually like you move it over and it just kind of like dumps this,
it immediately ruins it. Okay, so we need to solve two problems here. Number one, I think we're in agreement. The inside of this thing is goop. It is thick enough that you could see it as a solid, but it is also thin enough that we would describe it as liquid.
Yes. I mean, we have to. We have to agree with the facts that are in front of us.
Wonderful. So we've solved that Poke mystery. If you're wondering what's inside of Metapod, the answer is goop. Finally, we did want to touch on before we decided if the second form was worthy or not, or if it should just be skipped. Zach, what do you think of the design for Metapod?
For what it is, it looks cool. It has a sort of sleek look to it. You know, I mean, I think of a cool design Lamborghini sports car. It's kind of what I think of. It's got those angles on it.
Yeah, got to hit those angles, as Drake would say on the censored version of that track I'm thinking of.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love Metapod's look. I think there are not enough Pokemon that are just like this playfully silly looking, and not in the way that like we saw Bruxish last week, no, 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about Shelter. Like that looks ridiculous, but Metapod looks silly. If you talk to someone and they said Metapod is my favorite Pokemon, you'd be like, this person's a silly person.
Come on, look at this right here. Look at this.
Zach is bringing up for the listener a Lamborghini sports car.
A green Lamborghini. You're gonna tell me that it doesn't when you think about Metapod, I think you look back at that. There's a little bit of it there. I think the 1% driving around these Lamborghinis, Zach,
I think they look silly. No, the top 1% of the 1%. This is how we go viral, Zach. Should I do the Bernie sitting pose for all of our viewers?
Yeah, it's totally 2 weeks after it's relevant. You got it. Here's the thing. I think every driver of a green Lamborghini is thinking when they buy it, they think, this reminds me of Metapod.
I'm the goop inside the Metapod.
I'm the goop inside the Metapod.
Get this
Lamborghini.
Off the screen. Okay. I think everything said and done, it has a unique type, or it doesn't have a unique type, but it has a unique move to itself, has some cool Pokedex entries that are very weird and gross, and it has a cool design. I think this is the perfect example of a good second form.
I'm breathing deeply because the fact is I have to accept defeat on this.
You agree? I'm not saying you have to love Metapod.
I don't want to catch the Pokemon.
Sure, that's fine.
But I have to admit, with the parameters that you created, the game that you set, I have to admit that it is true as far as a second form goes. And I think what pushed me over the head is the Goop, because now I'm knowing that it's like a completely different thing. It's not just the Caterpie gets a shell around it. This is a Goop thing. I mean,
Zach, imagine that happened at one point in your life. It was like, you got to like junior high and you just turned into like a blob. So then you could rearrange your body when you finally turned into an adult.
Honestly, I think my 5th grade experience was pretty close to that. Just kind of turned into this circular kind of chubby blob. And then 6th, 7th grade, shot up, got to turn 6 foot. So, I mean, I think that's pretty much what happened. That is life. What a picture of life Metapod is. You know what? We try to build these hard shells around us, try to protect ourselves because we know as we're growing, we're kind of goopy in the middle.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of games that I play, I have a very quick game and then we're going to go into the Pokeball decision. Zach, in the regular Pokemon games, you can count the number of moves that Metapod can learn, I believe, on one hand. I think he knows he can learn a total of 5, maybe 6. But these are by like crazy ways to do it. Mostly he's just going to know like String Shot and Harden, and that's going to basically be it. But in the trading card game, he knows a couple different moves. So I wanted to ask you if this is a real trading card game move or if this is a synonym for the word Harden.
Okay.
They may be both. But if it is a trading card game move, I'd like to hear that from you or not. We'll go through these real quick. Solidify. Is that a trading card game move?
Yes.
False. Green Shield. Is that a trading card game move?
Yes.
That is correct. Stiffen. Is that a trading card game move?
No.
That is a trading card game move. Reinforce.
No.
You are correct. That is not a trading card game move. Strengthen.
Yes.
That is incorrect. That is not a trading card game move. And finally, sharpen.
Yes.
That is correct. That is a trading card game move. Zach, I think you came out just even there because we had 6 answers. So 3 and 3. Good job. It is time for the Pokeball decision. This is the part of the show where we decide what kind of Pokeball we would utilize on Metapod based solely on how badly we want it, not anything to do with rarity. We can use a Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, Master Ball. We also have the options to flee and throw a rock. Zach, I'll start with you.
So I have to consider, originally, I wouldn't have fled, but I have 0 interest in this Pokemon. But I think you've sold me on a couple facts, being that it is a good middle Pokemon. What is that? Second evolution?
Second form. Yeah.
Second form. So I'll agree with you on that level. And, but then what pushes me back that I don't want him is because he knows like no moves. And
think of the Goop, Zach. Think of the Goop.
Even after the card moves, I mean, the coolest sounding one, maybe Sharpen. That sounds kind of cool.
Sure.
And whatever, Green Shield.
Green Shield.
That's kind of fun. I'm going Pokeball. All right.
Okay. Yeah, totally fair. I'm going to go Great Ball. And basically, here's why.
You're insane.
Zach, you need a troll every now and then. You need that. You're going on this grueling Pokemon journey. Yeah. You're 10 years old.
Absolutely.
And there are grown adults who are like, I'm fighting you now. We're in the middle of a fight and you're like, oh my gosh, I hope I beat this adult. Yeah. You need something fun in your life. You need a moment of joy. And I think just throwing a Metapod out there and using Harden as if it's like a legitimate fight is so funny. Like whichever one of us loses this bet that we're making over the Super Bowl, I would absolutely adore if we start watching this and someone plays the Metapod card and uses Stiffen or Harden or whatever. That would be so funny. I would laugh. The announcers would laugh. The people who aren't even watching this would hear their ears would burn and they'd start laughing and they wouldn't know why. just filled with the spirit of joy.
And they would start laughing. That's always my feeling. Right before I'm about to laugh, I'm always like, man, my ears are
burning.
Gotta start laughing to get that out.
You should go see a doctor. Fine, if every time you laugh your ears burn, go see a doctor immediately.
Stop, pause this video, bring your phone with you to the doctor's office, go there, finish watching the video.
Share this video with your doctor.
Fine. I think that you're, whatever you're saying, as a troll move, I can understand a little bit, because he is a dumb Pokemon that you put out there and just see how long it takes to beat your dumb Pokemon. So you know what? You're that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of 10-year-old, okay? I'm the kind of 10-year-old that likes to show you my skills. I'm not out there just trying to joking on people, okay?
Zach, this is our 23rd main episode of the Pokemon Power Podcast, and reading through the list has become unwieldy. If you would like a refresher on the entire list as a listener, you can check out our Instagram, Facebook, or our Twitter, all at Pokepowpod, where we update the power ranking weekly, or at least we should. Sometimes we forget. We're trying to get better at doing this podcast and just life altogether. But I think we have a pretty clear area where we're going to be putting Metapod. Even though we both kind of came around to Metapod to a certain degree, you gave him Pokeball, I said Great Ball. I think both of us agree that on a power ranking of his strength, he's not going to be terribly high. He's not up with Snorlax, Mew, or Golem. He's going to be towards the bottom. And I really think the question is, Zach, is he number 21 above Slowpoke, 22 above Shelder, or is he at the absolute bottom, 23?
I think that he is, and I'm willing to move on this, but I think that he would be. Can he learn Tackle ever?
He doesn't learn Tackle. The one he learns. Is this good podcasting?
Looking up a thing.
He does learn Tackle, String Shot, and Bug Bite.
That's what I thought I learned Tackle. I'm putting him at 21. I think Nidoran is going to get him. He's too fast. I think that Slowpoke is not going to win, and I forget why we put Shelder below Slowpoke, but whatever, he's there now.
Even stupider than Slowpoke was, I think, our ultimate assessment there. I agree with you. I was gonna fight for Metapod at 21 if you had said any lower, but yeah, I don't think he's going to beat Nidoran male, who I do not like at all. But yeah, I think that's completely fair. He's going to sit at the number 21 spot. Metapod, we love you, baby. Zach, anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, I mean, just because you're at the bottom of a list, just because you're in a transition stage where you're growing, you're changing, that doesn't mean that you're not worthwhile, that you're not special. And that's what I'd like to tell each one of you listeners tonight, or today, or this afternoon, whenever you watch this or listen to this. You are special. You and all your goopiness.
And I would like to say Tom Brady sucks. As always, the Pokemon Power Podcast would like to thank bulbapedia.bulbagarden.net, Cerebi.org, and Dr. Lava YT. If you'd like to learn more about Pokemon, those would be great resources for you. If you'd like to ask us a question about next week's Pokemon, submit a game, or just keep up with the podcast, you can find us on most social media platforms at Pokepowpod. And as always, if you were a Pokemon, we'd choose you. Have a wonderful week.
Bye.